All right. Welcome, everybody. It's live on KEXP. I am your host, Troy Nelson, from listener-powered independent 90.3 FM KEXP, broadcasting live in Seattle and streaming 24/7 at kexp.org and our free mobile apps as well. And these live performances are made possible by people just like you. So thank you for supporting KEXP so we can have these exclusive live performances. I am so grateful because this was supposed to happen a couple of months ago. Something didn't work out and it got rescheduled, and here we are. We finally landed in the KEXP live room with the one and only Dessa. And Dessa, if you're ready, let's do this.
Let's roll. Fill the kiddie pool up with Pro Cycle, get the LEDs on, need the spectacle, gotta beat the one last week. Let's get a record. If you're trying to be a go-get-it, you gotta go and get it. Desperate times call for desperate pleasures. Some legitimate headlines, mostly cries for attention. The camera speeds, copy ready to read, ought to be a good night. We're live in 3, 2, dang man, bust it on a hot mic. It's a hurricane party, end days every other Wednesday. Live girls dance, dead men flow. A hurricane party, gold dust, sex and Bacardi. DJ says don't hold back because the water won't. Looks like someone leaked the password. Too much tea to clean Earl Grey disaster. Campaign manager comes, walks it backwards, but he's the one who tipped TV. Clever bastard. Shots fired in the echo chamber. Ricochet. The other side puts kids in danger. No matter what they're arguing, that's what they always say. Front of the parade, girl spins a baton. Band leader conducts with a corn in the cob. The new sound gets everybody out on the lawn. Composed for French horn, cash register. Cause it's a hurricane party. End days every other Wednesday. Live girls dance, dead men flow. A hurricane party, gold dust, sex and Bacardi. DJ says don't hold back because the water won't. Who broke the chain letter? Too much bad luck to try to get away with it. One more plague, nobody goes to recess. Chat bots away, take out your paper pieces. Longhand, give me an essay on the living conditions and odds written by the straw man. Housing shot up, looking for soft land. Dorothy comes to, couldn't give a good damn. Looking for a few recruits to do what must be done. So if you got the heart and a pair of good boots, meet me at the food court by Forever 21. It's a hurricane party, end days every other Wednesday. Live girls dance, dead men flow. A hurricane party, gold dust, sex and Bacardi. DJ says don't hold back because the water won't. You like it when I wear my hair down, but I say that way it just gets in my eyes. You say that's exactly what you like so much. I think that sums us up sometimes. I'll be your favorite me, mostly carefree. Laughs easily, but what you can't see in my routine is how hard it gets to keep the heartbeat clean. I can see the problem clearly. I can see the simple fact is that you like me in theory. I like you back in practice. I'm a mood for you. Give you just a good side. Save you all the best lines. Sometimes I wish that I was immune to you. Could see you and go right by. Could pull myself away from your high tide. And I'll be fine again by morning, right? I set a timer to remind myself. Nights are just sentimental for me. Why? Of all of the people on the planet, can't think of anybody else. I know we're supposed to keep it light, but no one can pick their appetite. So I think I'm done up on the tightrope. I want a love that feels like more than just survival. My beauty, my anger, my sadness, all anchored, they're fused to the bone. take some and leave some. I'm this way for a reason. You gotta love it all whole and let it all go. But there's room for two. We could share a flashlight, you and me by a landslide every time. But if it's true that you don't feel so satisfied by it, I won't wait around and wonder why. I'm immune for you, give you just a good side, save you all the best lines. Sometimes I wish that I wasn't you. I could see you and go right by. Could pull myself away from your high tide.
Awesome. You are listening to Dessa live here on KEXP.
I came to crash your party. Looks like your party crashed itself. Everyone left early. There must be something good going somewhere else. But I see you through the window. You're wearing that face you make when you're alone. I knock and you let me in though. You wanna know what I came for, and I accidentally tell the truth. I don't know what to do when I'm not here with you. I'm lost. I'm running around. I'm a creep. I'm a clown. I'm exhausted. So I came to crash your party. And yeah, I know now it's too late to talk. I just wanna help pick up all the pieces. Feel like it never even happened at all. I came to crash your party. Come on and say I can stay just to help. I know you could use somebody to get the glasses back up on the shelves. I came to crash your party. I came to crash your party. Well, I came to crash your party. I came to crash. I came to crash. And now from like heartsick to banger. Not a white piece or a side piece, I'm a think piece. If you're done then, take your dishes to the sink, please. Wash to the right, dry to the left. Mind is a kite and the fall is a mess. Out of office, out of body, out of fucks to give. Sorry, not sorry with a busted rib. Ain't a thing to do about it, just tape and time. And then you take the turn again, leaning harder. Hope the road won't burn so bad this time. You'll read your curve, fast as fuck, fit to swerve. Put the money to the metal, come and get your girl. Till the lights blur, till the lines meet in the middle of the high beams. And the white birds keep time with the heartbeat. Till you hit a nerve, till you hit a nerve, till you hit a nerve. Till you hit a nerve, till you hit a nerve, till you hit a nerve. I'm falling, don't catch me, don't touch me, don't call me, not much. We let go even when we should and we know it. I walk the wall, both hands open, I leave it all. Smoky eye because the mind's on fire. Break glass and pass the axe skyward. Stone the satellites, drone versus battle kites. Here goes the next past life. There's a speaker in a decoy. At the heart of the mind that rewinds the same bird song. To the back of the line, that's the beginner's fine. Let's get the third shift on. They say that a rising tide, when it comes in, will lift every ship. They skipped the bit about why a fire, how burns every bridge. Panic, trying to find a little dry ground. Big backups, everybody outbound, not me. I'm like the good witch, burning up another house down. Till I hit a nerve, I hit a nerve. No patience, I stay laced up and I'm running. Learned a phrase in every country. I've lived and died, been revived like this. That game you taught me how to play, I won it. Moved out east and I stayed hungry. And when the magic's on me, I can't miss. 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 When the magic's on me, I can't miss.
Love it. You've been listening to Dessa live on KEXP. Love all those songs. Love the latest album. Decoy being one of my favorites.
Oh, thanks.
From the new album. Also, the music video for Decoy is awesome.
Ah, so good. Yeah, it was a homie who we've known for a long time, who'd like done some amazing video post effects works, and then during the pandemic was suddenly available for like an indie rapper. So
cool. Was that like Andy Thompson or Laserbeak? Or they both worked on that?
Yeah, exactly. So the production team that I've worked with for a long time, Andy and Laserbeak, we all have like really distinct skill sets that don't overlap a lot. Andy Thompson's really like music theory guy. And
cool.
Beak is banger and I'm words. So.
Yeah, I was looking in the YouTube comment section, which is a scary place to go sometimes.
I'm not going there.
But I saw somebody say, I love how this song sounds like the perfect encapsulation of the varied musical styles of Dessa. And I love that because you have a very wide range of music loves, and we're going to get into that a little bit. And your musical journey has been so fascinating to me, and it's always evolving, being a part of the Doomtree Collective or playing festivals like Lollapalooza, recording with the Minnesota Orchestra. That had to be a definite highlight. And all of this. But none of this adds up to the fact that one of the first albums you ever bought was from The Offspring.
Oh, that's such a research flex. Such a research flex. Yes, it was. And
Was 90s rock your thing for a while?
I think like that angsty, whether it was like Liz Phair or like Everclear or Offspring, and then some that have like weathered a bit better, Tracy Chapman and the like. So
Of course. And let's go back to some of the first concerts that you ever experienced in your life. What was it like to see Joan Baez?
Gosh, you're good. I went with my mom, and my mom had this like killer voice. She was, very Whitney-esque in that she was a vocalist who could do those kind of athletic, nimble runs. Very much a singer. And I don't think I quite knew what was going on.
You're pretty young.
I mean? Yeah, I was. Yeah. But I do remember Dar Williams, who was like a folk singer and a really good vocalist, was the opener, and she made a really big impression on me. Every once in a while, like when Dar Williams will come on the radio, that feeling you get of like putting your fingers in the socket when an old memory just takes over your entire nervous system.
Yeah.
Like I don't trust myself to drive when she's on the radio.
Well, then a little bit later, you saw No Doubt.
I did. Concert. Yeah, that one was of my choosing. I think it was like Poe and No Doubt, and yeah. Did it really? Poe. Okay, quick shout out here to Abby Wolf, who is in studio.
Hello.
Yes.
That one hit me in the back of the brain.
Did it? Yeah, and I think watching someone just physically work a stage, like Gwen Stefani, she's moving a little differently than Joan Baez was, obviously, and so, yeah, like her with her wireless and kind of jumping up on monitors and just making the entire stage and some of the sound set, like a jungle gym. Mm-hmm. I liked that. I think in a lot of ways, like, Doomtree at our best shows anyway, like that was a big part of it, was the physicality of music too. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I love all the different types of music that has moved you throughout the years. And as I mentioned before, the wide range of music. You've been moved by Jeff Buckley to Outkast to Philip Glass and everything in between. But if we pivot from music for a second and go into literature, you have written books. You wrote an article that was published in the New York Times, and you also have written a book called My Own Devices, which NPR listed as one of the best reads of 2018. Is writing equally a passion of yours as music?
Yeah, I think, and
in my early years, my ambition was more literary than it was musical, in part because of my mom's voice, as I mentioned. Like, she was such a phenomenal singer, and I knew that music was really competitive, and it just seemed really unlikely that if I didn't have the best voice at my address, that I would be able to pull that off vocationally, And so I think erroneously, I presumed it wasn't likely and wasn't possible. But for me, I think even as a musician, like, the the lyricism is the engine of the project, which I know isn't true for everybody,
Yeah, it's tough. I've written a few songs in my life, and the most difficult part for me is the lyrics, but not because I have a hard time finding the words, but how they sit in the song, but yet still conveying your message and what works, what doesn't, and it's a lot of editing. It
is, and I feel like that particular, how to say this, I feel like there's training available. Like, if you wanted to become a creative writer or a songwriter, people can teach you how to do chords. People can teach you how to write metaphor. You know what I mean? Lots of writing exercises, lots of writing scales. But prosody, phrasing, there are fewer formulas for that. Like, why does this sound like I'm singing a white paper and that sound like a chorus? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the way that syllables sit atop music, I think, is much less formulaic and maybe a little bit harder to train for than some of the other aspects of songwriting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You and I also have something in common. We are both fascinated with the subject of love. And I've been married before, been in a couple lengthy relationships, and I as well have found myself in a couple situations after a breakup struggling so hard to get over the relationship, over the person, even if I understand that the compatibility is off, our energies are different. In a previous relationship, I'm an extrovert and she was a major introvert, and that just didn't work out. And even if you can see all the red flags, I would still catch myself pining for this person for a very, very long time. And will you please tell the listeners what lengths you went to dive deeper into our minds about love?
Yeah, so similarly, I just felt like the get over it period was so protracted as to be not only detrimental to my general quality of life, but also kind of low-key embarrassing,
Yeah, same.
And so I think there is some just sort of general wisdom. Get a hobby, hang out with friends. But after doing that for a few years and then a few years more and then a few years more, decided, hey, this isn't working. The normal stuff isn't working. And I ended up contacting a couple of neuroscientists to see if they'd be game to put me into an fMRI machine and do kind of a protocol that involved neurofeedback. So that's like on TV when you see somebody with a bunch of electrodes connected to their scalp measuring brainwaves and stuff, to see essentially if we could change the way that my brain was responding to make it a little bit more resilient. So this isn't like this isn't a lobotomy, this isn't spotless mind stuff, but it's an attempt to allow your brain to be more flexible, particularly in those regions associated with romantic love. I'm pushing up my imaginary glasses.
And you had your brain scanned, and didn't they find like a little image in the brain that you actually turned into a merch item?
Yeah, it was shout out here to Dr. Helen Fisher. So she is an evolutionary anthropologist. She had done this work where she would put people who were heartbroken into an fMRI machine, into a scanner, and she found this really consistent pattern of activation, meaning there's a particular part of your brain that seems to be associated with romantic love. And I thought, gosh, I found that so counterintuitive. Maybe for no reason. Like, there's a part of your brain associated, with moving the index finger on your right hand. But it just surprised me that there was like a neurological correlate. So after I went through the scanner and we were able to find the regions of my brain that, according to her, research, lit up as expected, we 3D printed them, and then we cast them in silver and in bronze, and I sold them at the merch table for $85 a pop.
I love that. I find that so lovely, and because when I was hearing you talk about that story, it made me feel, I don't know, sort of. I had struggled so hard, and hearing that there's other people out there that have struggled so hard where they're going to go to the lengths to try to get to the actual image in the brain of how it reacts to love or breakups or sadness. I loved that you went out there and did that. And
one of the things that was really surprising to me is, there's a venue that Abby and I have played a bunch of times in Minneapolis, where we met and spent a lot of our youth. And there's this like really gruff stage managers at one of the venues. Stay there. And I remember like waiting to go on stage and him going, so a couple of the staff coming up, and I was surprised at how many people quietly went, I've loved her for 15 years, or I've loved her for 22 years. I've loved it. Like, there's so many people who had no place to posit that information because what are you going to do with that secret?
Yes.
And we're kind of embarrassed about it. And it surprised me that it was a secret that I seemed to be sharing with so many people.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It really resonated with me. And also, real quick, back to the topic of writing. What can you tell us what is so special about the writer Mary Roach?
Gosh, she's so cool. Mary Roach is a science writer, and I don't think that I knew that that was a thing. I knew that there were scientists, and I knew that there were writers, but there's this special set of people who have put in the time to get really comfortable with the scientific concepts and then are able to render them digestible to a lay audience. That's what she does. And she's also just so adventurous, bold, and funny. So she writes a lot of books that have like a monosyllabic title. Grunt, Stiff, Bonk was her one about sex, which was really good. She had sex with her husband in an fMRI machine. In an fMRI machine. Yeah. And I think that the way that she writes about science, which is she gets her hands dirty. And it's really cool.
It's amazing. Thank you for introducing me to Mary Roach.
Yeah, sweet.
And doing this research, and now I'm down that rabbit hole. So it's fantastic. Dessa, thank you for the years of all this fantastic music, and you continue to make wonderful music. Is there anything that you're working on currently that we should know about?
I'm working on some new stuff with Laserbeak and Andy Thompson, a song suite, which is something that I've wanted to do for a long time. I like the idea of like a little amuse-bouche or something. Like for me, albums have always felt a little too large sometimes. The idea that any musical idea would fit into a prepackaged box. It should be about 12 songs in 42 minutes. I like the idea of tailoring the box to fit the idea so that you're really working with economy. So that's what we're doing. And then just one more shout out to my accompanist and friend, Abby Wolf, in studio with us today.
Yes. Abby and Dessa, thank you so much for taking the time. And the door's always open, so please come back.
Yes. Thanks.
Yes, you've been listening to Dessa live on KEXP.
Discover new music at listener-powered KEXP.org.